I hate drawing with a seething passion. Okay, wait. Before you go attacking me in the comments or saying, but MJ, you've drawn in some of your videos. Why in the world do you hate drawing? Just let me explain what I mean by that, because I promise you, once you hear what I have to say, it'll make sense. But yeah, I hate drawing, and today I wanted to talk about it and give you my main reasons why I will never draw or make any kind of artwork professionally. If you like this video, please be sure to hit the like button, comment down below, and hit the subscribe button for future content. So let me preface this by saying that yes, I do like drawing as a hobby, and yes, I was just being hyperbolic when I said I hate it. Because here's the thing, okay? There's nothing truly wrong with drawing as a thing you like to do, whether you're good or bad at it. It's wonderful, alright? Art is a beautiful, emotional, and sometimes even cathartic process that can tell you a lot of things about not just the artist, but yourself as an observer and lover of art. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with drawing. I just don't like doing it sometimes. But you're probably wondering why, because no, I didn't always feel that way. So I'll start from the beginning. I loved cartoons of all kinds when I was a kid, and at one point when I was about 8 or 9 or so, I wanted nothing more in this world than to be an animator. Specifically, a Disney animator at one point, because I was obsessed with the art style, but honestly, I didn't really care what kind of animating I ended up doing. I just knew I wanted that to be my profession. Because I was born in 1991, yes, I'm 33, I was exposed to a plethora of different shows, but a lot of them were Disney Channel cartoons whenever we had cable. I would practice by attempting to draw the characters and mimic the style, even making up my own characters at times, but mostly just copying their style. Sadly, I don't have pictures to show of it, but my method was to try to imitate the style because I knew that if one day when I grew up and landed my dream job, I would more than likely be working with a team of cartoonists, and not all of the projects I would be working on would be my own ideas. But I do wish I could show you these pictures because let me tell you, they were dreadful. I mean, even for a 9-year-old, because I was terrible at drawing, and it just wasn't a talent that came naturally to me. Even though I greatly enjoyed coming up with different characters and backstories for them, and I could write all day long about all the possible plot lines, I tremendously sucked at actually representing those characters the way I was seeing them in my head. I was extremely insecure, often comparing my artwork to others my age, and I just found it lacking. It didn't really help that I had an artist for a mother who sketched and painted day in and day out, whose natural talent at artistry I felt I had to live up to. So naturally, with my dying confidence, my dreams of being an animator for Disney very quickly bit the dust. But something interesting did come out of my conquest to be an imitator of great artists of the time. I learned that not only did I have a natural proclivity toward writing and storytelling, rather than drawing, but combining those two things with rudimentary artwork did make for great comic strip ideas. So while maybe I failed to live up to the artistic standards I was setting for myself as a Disney animator, I did think my crude sketches and goofy storylines would be perfect for the Sunday paper, and for the first time when I was a kid, I felt genuine confidence in my art skills, even though they were still pretty terrible. Then, when I was in 7th grade, so right around 12 or so, I became obsessed with dragons and stories involving dragons after reading an excerpt of a story by Anne McCaffrey in my English Lit class, and finding some of her novels in the fantasy section of the school library. I rightfully earned the nickname Dragon Girl after that, because I would obsessively draw pictures of dragons both in and out of class, and even attempt some fan art of McCaffrey's characters. Wrote my first fanfic too. Still to this day, there are people who have no idea what my actual name was, and just knew me as the Dragon Girl, because they only knew me as the weird chick that drew dragons in the margins of her homework. Kind of a side note, but my adoring husband found out about this one day and actually got me a mug with Dragon Girl engraved on it, and it was both hilarious and sweet. I love him. But I digress. Point being is that around that time, through reading fantasy novels and writing my own short stories, I discovered that what my true passion was had nothing to do with drawing. But rather than sketch out characters, my talent was for describing those characters through the written word. Not only did it come more naturally to me, but it was more fun and fulfilling to write the scenes in my head rather than draw them, and to paint a picture for audiences not with the stroke of a brush, but the stroke of a key. I did still draw on occasion, and every once in a while I would make a few honest attempts at expressing myself through my drawings, but from that moment onward, I pretty much gave up entirely on making any and all serious attempts at becoming an artist professionally. I let myself go, as far as studying and practicing art or attempting to make comics. Anytime I would come up with an interesting idea for something visual, it just always ended up being written out at some point and turned into a novel instead, because it was easier. It wasn't that I quit, per se, but just that my priorities changed. Now, I've already alluded in some previous videos as to why I would never write professionally either, but since this video is about art and not writing, I'll skip over all those details for the time being. But suffice to say, I no longer had any motivation whatsoever to take comics or cartoon work seriously as a profession, and probably for good reasons, but at this point you're maybe wondering what any of this has to do with hating drawing in general as an adult. Well, there are a number of reasons, but I'll mainly stick to the ones that apply to drawing as a hobby on YouTube, since that is overall what I want to be the focus of the video. Look, it's not that my art is bad, but let's face it, it's not exactly good either. I know that art, like many creative passions, is meant to be subjective, and what one person thinks is terrible, another person may think is pretty awesome. But can you, as the viewer, objectively say that my art is good when, come on, look at it. Yes, there are people out there who draw worse than me, but when there are thousands of better artists on YouTube to get tips from, would you really want to get drawing advice from me? Probably not. Would you really want to see that in the background of my videos if there was a better option? My guess is no. It's also insanely difficult for me to draw traditional art for a video. To get the best camera angle, you basically have to draw on a flat surface and be very careful not to lean in too close to the table because you'll ruin the shot. This is not easy for some people to do, frankly. I'm one of these people that is much more relaxed and confident with their penciling when I can sit with my sketchbook propped up in my lap at an angle, as demonstrated here. And while some artists can compensate for this by purchasing a desk easel to prop up their sketchbook or even their tablet when drawing digitally, it's still very awkward to use without bumping the surface, and there's little to no flexibility with angle. But speaking of digital art, yeah, forget that. I learned a long time ago that I'm terrible with the digital pencil, and even with years of practicing on my sketchbook app, I am awful at drawing digitally without tracing or heavily relying on a reference at all times. It does take years of practice, though, to get good at. You can ask any digital artist and they'll tell you that their talent did not happen overnight, and very rarely will you ever find an artist that is just naturally good at digital painting. It can also get pretty expensive to use good quality software and tools. The easiest option might be to just buy a stylus pen to use for your iPad and download a free app, but not all of us can afford tablets. I am by no means discouraging anyone from pursuing art as a passion, though. It can be a great way to make money depending on how you go about it. And even if you don't want to pursue it as a career, it can still be pretty fun, and like I said in the beginning, it can also be very cathartic. And I'm going to go off script here, and I'm going to add that I think it's really, really great that so many artists put their art on YouTube. You don't find a lot of original content anymore, sadly. And, my content really isn't original either. There are thousands of people that put gaming footage in their videos who are just doing commentary that has nothing to do with gaming, and the gaming footage is, just for filler. There's actually probably millions of videos like that, and I'm not unique in that sense. I think it's very admirable when artists want to put something unique and original in their videos. I think it adds a lot to the platform that is severely lacking at the moment, but really this video is just to kind of explain why I don't feel like I'm one of those people. I do still draw on occasion when I feel inspired to do so, and yes, I do still cycle through comic ideas in my head, with plans to eventually put them to paper, if they don't get turned into novels first. And I do think that people should absolutely pursue their creative passion if it makes them happy, but far too often I see creators get burnt out because they're just not passionate about what they're drawing, and that really sucks, honestly. I don't think it's fair to say to someone that likes drawing as a hobby that they absolutely have to pursue it as a career, or even share their art with others if they don't want to. I firmly believe that people should be able to do things just for themselves and for their own amusement if they want to, rather than for others' entertainment. Every time I see a video on YouTube where an artist is talking about how they got burnt out or lost interest, and every message in their diatribe is always about how to get back in the saddle and learning to push through and continue drawing, I honestly get a little irritated, not gonna lie. It perpetuates the notion that if you can do something, then you absolutely must. If you have an interest in it, then it must become a dedicated hobby and must be shared with others, even if it doesn't make you happy. As a career move, yes, an artist absolutely will have certain obligations, one that a hobbyist won't have, and if your art is your source of income, you'll have to find a way to keep up with the demands of the job. But why are we telling people that have no intention of pursuing art as a career that if they don't share their drawings with others, they're somehow a bad person or doing themselves or others a disservice? To be honest, I hate drawing as a hobby because I let myself believe for so many years that I had to do that if I wanted to succeed in life or feel accomplished in some way. And truthfully, I'm very tired of feeling that way, and I know I can't be the only one. I'm a writer, not an artist, so why should I force myself to be something I'm not for the sake of a YouTube video, or even for the sake of originality? So I guess my advice to anyone that finds this video that happens to be an artist or just enjoys art as a hobby or pastime, don't force yourself to share it with others on some kind of principle that if you don't, you're doing something wrong. Because trust me, you're not. Fight back against that mentality because no one is owed your talent or your effort. No one is entitled to your artwork. And that's all I have for this video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, please leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Give your thoughts and opinions, or if, like me, you've ever felt this invisible pressure to make art when you really don't want to. Give me some content ideas too. If there's anything you'd like me to give my opinion on, or if there's something you want me to check out, let me know. Tell me what your favorite video is, or if you make videos, let me know where I can find them. And of course, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then.